Charlie was so bright, he was so informed, he was this incredible debater, and he had this brilliant personality, and he of course worked day in and day out to speak the truth and also counter the leftist narrative that is everywhere at universities, on mainstream media outlets, running through Hollywood, and of course he was backing Donald Trump all the way through. Here he was at the start of the year predicting that the president would end the war in Gaza.
They said, what is President Trump going to do about the war in Gaza? Is he going to end the war? Charlie, when is the killing going to stop? When is the war going to be over? I said, if you want a chance at a war to be over, put President Trump in charge. Donald Trump will bring an end to the slaughter, an end to the killing. I want you to listen carefully. Donald Trump kept his promise.
It's amazing listening to that. That was just in January, and just several months later, Donald Trump got it done.
It was really prophetic. And Gabriella, it wasn't easy. A lot of people, I think, don't understand what happened here is the result of a multi-pronged strategy that included the bombing of Iran's nuclear facilities. It included Israel taking out Hezbollah's leadership, which ended the financing of Hamas. It included twisting the arms of people in Egypt and Qatar to get involved here on behalf of peace and on behalf of returning the hostages, and giving the green light to the Israelis to do whatever they want if Hamas doesn't come through with the hostages. It was a multi-pronged strategy. It wasn't easy, but President Trump got it done.
Let's just look at the moment that Donald Trump formally signed the peace deal in Egypt.
This took 3,000 years to get to this point. Can you believe it? And it's going to hold up, too. It's going to hold up.
John, it was just incredible to see the hostages finally coming home after 2 long years. Now, Donald Trump says that phase 2 of the ceasefire deal begins now, and he's already been calling out Hamas for delaying handing over many of the bodies of hostages that need to be returned to Israel straight away. He wrote on Truth Social, the dead have not been returned as promised. Phase 2 begins right now. Now, as part of this ceasefire deal, Hamas will, of course, have to disarm, and the president was asked about this today at the White House, and he was very clear that he's not playing games.
We have told them we want to disarm, and they will disarm. And if they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently. But they will disarm. Do you understand me?
Yes, you say
because
quickly.
you always, everyone says, oh, well, they won't disarm. They will disarm. And I spoke to Hamas, and I said, you're going to disarm, right? Yes, sir, we're going to disarm. That's what they told me. They will disarm, or we will disarm them. Got it?
John, it's a pretty clear warning to Hamas that they've got no option but to disarm. What do you make of this, and how do you see this playing out?
Well, it's interesting because if you look at Trump's 20-point plan, only the first couple of points have actually been implemented. And what it contemplates is that other Islamic countries in the Middle East are going to come in, and there will be an international group that takes control in Gaza on a temporary basis and basically kicks Hamas out. Now, it remains to be seen whether the will is actually there in these other Middle Eastern countries to do that. I don't know what's going to happen there. And when Trump says they got to disarm or we will disarm them, I don't believe American troops are going to Gaza. So I think it's very much in doubt as to exactly what is going to happen with the leadership of those people.
Okay, we'll be watching it very closely. Now, President Trump also met with Argentina's President Javier Milei at the White House today. Now, Javier Milei attended the ceremony honouring Charlie Kirk, but he was there to meet with Donald Trump for financial support for Argentina in the form of a $20 billion currency swap. Now, it's interesting, President Donald Trump directly tied the $20 billion lifeline to Javier Milei's success in the upcoming midterm elections. He says that if Milei loses losers, that we are not going to be generous with Argentina. So Argentina is holding a midterm congressional election on October 26th that is widely being seen as this referendum on Milei's policies. What do you make of what Donald Trump has said here? Is he being Trump-like? Is he being bold and just really showing that he backs Milei? Or is there some controversy around what he said?
Well, he's being bold for sure. You know, there's a lot of history here. Argentina is a very important country in the Western Hemisphere, and they have suffered for over 100 years from terrible governance. They've had repeated episodes of hyperinflation. They've actually had fascist governments from time to time. Milei has done a terrific job in Argentina. He's brought inflation under control. That's one of the most important things. Now there's some kind of a run on the Argentinian peso. I'm not sure exactly why. Investors are fleeing the peso and going to dollars. And so this swap that President Trump has agreed to of dollars for pesos counteracts that and helps to shore up the value of the peso. So I think this makes a lot of sense because Argentina is a very important ally of the United States. And it's important to the whole Western Hemisphere that Argentina be a stable country. Now, some people undoubtedly are going to criticize Trump for saying, yeah, this depends on Milei staying in power. All I can say is that he's not the first president to meddle in foreign elections. Barack Obama did it in spades. It's not unusual. And at this time, at least I think it is being done in America's self-interest.
Yeah, any excuse to criticize Donald Trump, it will be written about, that is for sure. John Hinderaker, president of the Center of the American Experiment, thank you so much for joining us.